10 young men were about to be ordained as priests when everything abruptly halted. A mysterious boy had witnessed something truly bizarre. For as long as anyone could remember, a certain young boy had been a fixture at St. Peter's Church. He always appeared alone, never speaking to anyone, and would sit quietly at the back of the church, lost in his own world. The parishioners were uneasy about the boy, his origins were unknown, and his thoughts were a mystery. Yet, there was something strangely compelling about him. Always dressed in white, with long dark hair and a piercing gaze, the boy seemed to perceive things others couldn't. He often made cryptic statements that left churchgoers puzzled. Some believed he was foretelling the future, while others thought he was merely eccentric. Regardless, his presence was a constant reminder of the mysteries that exist beyond our understanding. His name and origins remained unknown, but his enigmatic presence in the church highlighted the unexplained elements of the world. The church's priestly ordination was that Saturday, and the parishioners were already looking forward to it. On the day of the ordination, the church was filled with excitement and anticipation. 10 men dressed in white robes stood before the altar. They were about to become priests, embarking on a sacred journey. The congregation watched with admiration as these men prepared to devote their lives to serving their faith. The 10 men were all young and handsome. They looked very excited to become priests. Each of them had prepared for this moment, studying and dedicating themselves to their spiritual calling. The bishop in charge, a respected figure in the community, led the ceremony. His words held wisdom and authority as he guided the 10 priests to be through the ceremony. The atmosphere was solemn, and the congregation watched with reverence, cherishing the significance of the occasion. Prayers were offered, blessings bestowed, and vows solemnly taken. The 10 men stood before the altar, their hearts filled with devotion and a deep sense of purpose. Little did they know that this day would change everything, making their ordination a mysterious tale to remember. Meanwhile, the strange boy stood at the entrance of the church, adding a sense of curiosity and mystery to the ongoing ceremony. His eyes, full of secrets, suggested he knew things the congregation was oblivious to. Everyone participating in the ceremony looked excited, minus one person, the mysterious boy. He had foreseen something strange and knew danger was about to loom. As the ceremony went on, the mysterious boy fixed his gaze on the man in the white robe at the end of the line. He didn't take his eyes off him, even for a second. This man was different from the others. He was younger and had a strange look in his eyes. The boy had seen that look before and knew what it meant. Just before the bishop made the special pronouncement that would turn the men into reverend fathers, the boy suddenly screamed, "Stop! He's going to die!" The boy's voice was loud and clear, cutting through the noise of the ceremony. It echoed through the sacred walls of the church, causing silence to fall upon the congregation. Everyone immediately turned to look at the boy with their mouths wide open. They began to murmur, and some even suggested that the church wardens throw the boy out. Worried, the bishop asked the boy to come forward and questioned why he said something so scary. The boy explained that he saw a man in a white robe die. The bishop was puzzled because all 10 men were wearing white robes, but the boy stuck to his story and insisted that one of them would die before the ceremony ended. As the boy spoke, each person's heart skipped a beat, gripped by the weight of his revelation. An invisible shroud of tension enveloped the church, leaving everyone on edge, wondering what would unfold next. A few moments later, the presiding bishop took a deep breath and tried to reassure the anxious church members with a smile. He thought the boy's warnings were trivial and believed the 10 men were safe. However, the boy insisted the ceremony should stop, warning that continuing might result in a death. Seeing the boy's seriousness, the bishop paused the ceremony and called a meeting with the elders. The discussion quickly became chaotic, with some supporting the boy and others dismissing him as superstitious. After an hour with no agreement, the bishop decided to proceed with the ordination, but with heightened security. As the ceremony continued, the congregation was divided between skepticism and unease. The boy remained silent, leaving everyone uncertain whether his warnings were valid or just empty words. Finally, the bishop, with a deep sense of fear etched on his face, approached the men and placed his hands on their heads, granting them the authority of the priesthood. As soon as the bishop ordained the last priest, the crowd immediately screamed for joy. They were glad that the prophecy hadn't come true. Unfortunately, their celebration was short-lived. In a shocking turn of events, one of the newly ordained priests, Father Paul, stumbled backward, clutching his chest in pain. His face suddenly turned pale, and then he collapsed to the ground. People in the church panicked, and chaos broke out as they tried to help him. The overwhelmed bishop quickly called for medical help. Sadly, despite their best efforts, it was too late. Father Paul passed away without a moment's delay. The authorities were summoned, launching a thorough investigation into the surprising demise of the man. Doctors also performed an autopsy to determine the cause of death, but to everyone's surprise, they couldn't find any reason for why Father Paul had died. It was a complete mystery that left the church members puzzled. 2 months later, the police investigation led to some startling truths about Father Paul. The police uncovered that Father Paul had been leading a double life as a seminarian. The late priest was a heavy smoker, gambler, and womanizer. The boy's prophecy had revealed truths hidden in darkness. As news of the revelation spread, those who had once feared the boy's strange abilities began to see him in a new light. Fear gave way to respect, and he was now regarded as a valuable and cherished presence. The other priests ordained that day were profoundly impacted by Father Paul's death. They made a commitment to lead righteous lives and adhere faithfully to their beliefs. Church members, who had previously been wary of the boy, learned that he was the grandson of a wise, elderly blind woman living in a quiet part of town. They started visiting the boy and his grandmother, bringing food and clothing to their modest home. In the months that followed, the church experienced a profound transformation. Father Paul's passing served as a poignant reminder of life's fragility and the importance of not taking time for granted. The congregation grew closer, motivated to live purposefully and treasure every moment together. The boy, as enigmatic as ever, continued to offer prophecies, saving those who chose to believe in him. I'm really keen to know your thoughts on this story, so please don't hesitate to share your insights in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, I invite you to subscribe to our channel for more similar content. Feel free to share this video. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm excited to connect with you in our future videos.